Today's video is an easy, no-fail recipe for both Hawaii-style Gandules rice and Pastele stew. You definitely cannot screw this up, and I will show you how to use a rice cooker for the Gandules rice to have perfectly cooked rice that's easy to make. First, we're going to do some prep. I chopped up about a pound of pork butt and made it into small little cubes like this in bite-sized pieces. Put that aside in a bowl. Then you're going to wash half a bunch of cilantro and rough chop it and put it on a plate on the side. Then you're going to use one bell pepper, about a medium-sized one, chop it in half, and use half of it for your Gandules rice. Rough chop that. Rough chop 5 cloves of garlic as well. Use half an onion and rough chop that. Save the other half for your stew. So this is all the rough chopped vegetables. This is our sofrito. We're going to put that in a blender and blend it into a liquid form and set that aside. Going to get a hot pan, put 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil or any oil of your choice. We're going to use about 1 big heaping tablespoon of achiote seeds. I'm going to put that in your oil. I'm cooking it over medium heat. You don't want it too high because you don't want to burn the seeds, otherwise it gives a very bitter taste. You're just going to warm up the pan and fry until the seeds are fragrant, and they're going to make your oil a nice orange-red color. So just keep stirring it around until your oil gets red. You're going to keep stirring for about maybe 5 minutes. You're going to smell a nice fragrant scent. If it's fresh, these are fresh achiote seeds from my neighbor's garden. She has a little tree. And this is what they look like. If you can't find them in your regular grocery store, you can find them at a Hispanic market or on the Asian aisle of a grocery store. This is a close-up of what your oil is going to look like. You're going to fish out the seeds later and just save the oil. I put my achiote oil in a bowl. Use a dark bowl because it stains white bowls, and we're going to use that later. So this is a close-up of the sofrito in my blender, and I put it aside. We're going to use the other half of the items to make another sofrito for the stew, but for now we're going to use that same pan and put in our pork. You're going to fry it till it's browned and cooked inside. You can see the oil is turning the pork orange. So prior to putting it in the pan, of course, you're going to oil up your pan. So I put about 1 spoonful of the oil that we put aside into the pan to fry up this pork. I'm going to season it to your taste with salt and pepper. And then just keep frying it till it's cooked. You're going to throw in your sofrito and make sure you get all the good bits out from the blender. And then once it's incorporated, just stir it in and try to cook all the herbs and the onions and garlic. And it looks very green right now, but don't worry, it'll look like Gandules rice later. I'm going to put 2 big tablespoons of tomato paste and cook that down into everything. While that's simmering on medium-high heat, you're going to wash 2 cups of rice in your rice cooker bowl. You're going to add about 2 to 1.5 cups of chicken broth. And this is the Sazon from Goya. You're going to use 1 pack of that, put it in the rice. You definitely need these. These are great and they taste wonderful. You're going to use about half a cup of Gandules beans, which is the pigeon peas. Again, you can find this in the Hispanic section or the Asian section of your market. This is the Goya brand in a can. You're going to use the 2.25 ounces of the sliced olives. I find it easier so you don't have to slice, but if you want to slice it, go ahead. knock yourself out. And then mix all the things together, including all the contents in your frying pan that you fried up, your pork and your sofrito, and mix up all the rice and throw it in your rice cooker. It's as easy as that. Press your rice button, and when it's done, it's done. And while that's cooking, we're gonna do our Pastele stew. All right, to prep for our stew, we got a pot of water, and this is for our green bananas or plantains. Today I'm going to be using plantains. I bought 4. You can use maybe 4 big medium-sized bananas, or a little bit more if they're smaller sized green bananas if you're doing that. And the reason we're doing this is we're gonna chop them up. I chopped them into 4s, and it makes it much easier to peel. If you've ever peeled a green banana before, it is not easy, and you get all that sticky, slimy stuff on your fingers. It's very hard to get off, even with soap. So you're gonna boil the bananas or the plantains for about 5 minutes. Don't worry if it's soft, it actually makes it easier, because I'm gonna show you a way, instead of grating it, a much easier way to make the masa. So once they're done boiling, you're gonna peel off the skins and chop them a little bit smaller, rough chop. Throw them in your blender, and it's gonna make this nice smooth masa, a little bit chunky, but it's much faster than grating it with a cheese grater. If you've ever done that the old school way, it is very hard to do. You're gonna put a little bit of the achiote oil that we made and give it a mix with some salt and pepper and set it aside. This is what it's gonna look like. All right, for the stew, we're gonna use a big soup pot, and I put 3 tablespoons of oil, and the rest of our achiote oil, just dump the rest in there. And I got some rough chopped pork, about 1.5 pounds of it. So I pretty much bought a 2-pound tray, and that way you can just use that one tray to make both the rice and the stew. You're gonna brown the meat again and mix it up, get the achiote oil all over it to season it up. You're gonna season it with salt and pepper too. And this is my other part of the other half of the vegetables that I said to put aside. Made another sofrito with that in my blender, and throw that in with the pork to season it all up, and pretty much fry the pork till it's brown. This is a close-up of what it looks like. I rough chopped about a small onion or half a medium onion, just to give it a little bit more texture, even though we have onion in our sofrito. And I put 2 big heaping tablespoons of tomato paste in there. And you're gonna cook down the onions and the tomato paste. And put in the rest of the chicken broth. I used one of those big sized chicken broths so that I could just buy one and use it for both recipes. It should make about 2 3/4 of a cup left over of chicken stock or chicken broth. I also put in 1 quart of water. And you're gonna give it a nice stir, just to incorporate all the ingredients that we put in so far. You're gonna put in 1, I believe, 12.5 ounce can of tomato sauce. Fill that can up with water and dump it all in there. I put about 2 tablespoons roughly of Hawaiian salt in there, 2 bay leaves, about maybe a teaspoon or so of oregano. We're gonna put 1 pack of that Sazon Goya in there. This is a must-have. And then I also have about 1 pound of ground pork. I'm gonna throw that in there. That's the difference with mine. This makes it much more thicker of a stew and much more meatier as well. Just give it a stir, try to break up all the pieces of the ground pork. And we don't want to fry the pork prior because it makes it tough. We want it to meld in with everything. This is our masa that we put on the side for our Pastele. And we pretty much just scoop it on it, and you can actually just dump the whole thing in It's not going to be like a dumpling. They're going to fall apart. And this also thickens the stew. So just give everything a nice stir and let everything cook together and let the ground pork cook through. I'm going to throw in 1 can of diced tomatoes and also 2 cans of medium-sized olives, drained of course. And give everything a stir again. And I used about 2 big tablespoons of cumin. And that's pretty much what it looks like. We're going to cover it up and let it simmer for about 40 minutes. And towards the end, I threw in maybe 1/4 of a serrano pepper. I didn't have any Hawaiian chili pepper. This is what it looks like when you first open your rice cooker. Don't worry, it looks mushy, but you're gonna just start turning everything, stirring it around, get all the liquid because it rises to the top. And just like regular rice, it's gonna be a little mushy, so you're gonna let it sit for about 20 minutes and it should be at a right consistency. This is the finished product of the stew, and I think it came out pretty good. It made a lot of food. You can freeze this as well. It keeps up to 3 to 6 months in the freezer if you store it well. And it's that easy, everybody. Once the rice is done, the stew takes a little bit longer. Everything should be done with good time management. This is what it looks like on a plate. And as you can see, the liquid evaporated in the rice cooker to make a perfectly cooked ganduli rice, not too mushy, not undercooked, and it's easy to do. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again next time. Peace out.